I won't be a slave.
Oh, didn't you know? Never trust the wicked. When the cards are on the table, they tell wicked lies and fables. Unable to be dropping the prophecies like we be. Flipping off through the scriptures like Exodus 15 and 3. Ooh, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. How could you think to even add much more? Or is you lacking understanding? Because these pork chop preachers be lying but still demanding. Looting money from your pockets though. But never to teach you when they reach you that the son of God's a so-called Negro. A woolly gray afro and dark. That's where we step in to tear these lies apart. Scripture after scripture. You let it rip you if you wicked. The Israelites are coming from Eastern to Pacific. Scholars are prolific with the scriptures like Solomon. All praises to the Most High that he chose us. Now we in.
Here's a little something about the hidden truth. Somebody should have told you about the hidden truth. What? You can't get away from the hidden truth because it's real.
What's real?
It's real.
That's right.
Here's a little something about the hidden truth. Somebody should have told you about the hidden truth.
What?
You can't get away from the hidden truth because it's real.
What's real?
It's real.
That's right.
As it is written, the truth is sitting inside of a simple mind of a holy nation that doesn't know that they're divine. So let us take this time to run the line on the future. Prophecy of how the devil seduced you. There's more religions than there are pigeon dung, but none of these religions can tell you where you truly come from. This message is for the ones they call minority in the USA ghettos up under Satan's authority. The vast majority of my people don't have the true knowledge and understanding of the Bible, that they're the Jews. That's right, Christ and all the prophets have a dark complexion. So any foes of the facts don't have no protection. We make connection with the past with knowledge of the ever-present Bible to help my people with their suicidal tendencies, cause they tend to be led astray. We looking for that one trait, headed for the payday.
Here's a little something about the hidden truth. Come on. Somebody should have told you about the hidden truth.
What?
You can't get away from the hidden truth cause it's real.
What's real?
It's real.
That's right.
Here's a little something about the hidden truth. Somebody should have told you about the hidden truth.
What?
You can't get away from the hidden truth cause it's real.
What's real?
It's real.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to another exciting edition of The Hidden Truth. I'm your host, I'm Priest Kazakia, and once again we have priest and teacher Thahawan Mayam.
Shalom, brothers and sisters.
And we have our reader today, Priest Karataza Achad.
Shalom.
Okay, and once again we're the Hebrew Israelites. You brothers that barely tuned in to us, we've been on this show for a while, about what, 3-4 years?
Mm-hmm.
But they changed us from Tuesdays to Saturdays. So we have been on this network for a second here. We're the Hebrew Israelites, okay? Hebrew being our language, Israelite our nationality. And what we teach is that these people right here that are scattered throughout the world of Negroid and Indian descent that are calling themselves these names: Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, Panamanians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, people from Argentina to Chile, Colombia to Uruguay, and the Mexicans. You are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, okay? So that's just for you brothers and sisters that just barely tuned in to us. We also touch on various topics dealing with the Bible, okay? But just to get that straight out there, we don't believe that the Bible is a religious book. Nowhere in the Bible does it say to be a Baptist, a Pentecost, a Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, a Muslim. All those are religions. Doesn't have nothing to do with the Bible, doesn't have nothing to do with the Scriptures. But what we do find in the Scriptures is that Christ said, go to the children of Israel and tell them about this kingdom of heaven that's finna come, okay? So our show is based off of first showing our brothers and sisters that you are the Israelites. You are the chosen people. You're the lost sheep. You're the people that been scattered and called niggas, spicks, spooks, monkeys, wetbags, border jumpers, water beetles, all these names that been put on you to degrade you, to demeanor you, is the sign, the revealing that you are the chosen people of God, okay? And that these Israelis or so-called Jews, they are not the true Jews, but you that are calling yourselves of a color, you're calling yourself of a hairstyle, Afro-American, African-American. You're not African-American. Your spirit is nothing like the Africans, okay? Those are heathens, okay? So whether you call yourself Afro-American, Nubian. Nubian's just a head wrap. That's a woman's head wrap. You're none of these things. And you're not a Muslim. Let that be for the Arabs. You're not a Muslim. We're going to have to go over a show on that. You're not a Muslim. To be a Muslim is a religion. You let them have their religion. That's fine. But we serve the one true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We don't got nothing to do with Islam. Okay? That's for the Arabic people. If they want to believe in the Kaaba stone and they want to believe in their belief, let them. That has nothing to do with you. Just like Buddhism. That has nothing to do with our people.
Right.
Hinduism, that got nothing to do with you. Put that sign up. Put the 12 tribes sign up. Those are all religions. We didn't serve religions. We didn't serve idols. Okay, so put down your false images of Christ, because those are idols. Put down your false pictures, your false pictures of the 12 apostles. Those right there images are lies. So all these other religions, or all these religions, okay, they got nothing to do with the 12 tribes of Israel. You're supposed to be coming back knowing the truth. And we're going to start on today's topic. I guess this is the third part of what Priest S.O.W's been bringing about is on the 12 tribes of Israel. You went over 933 BC.
Right. We went over the division of Israel.
Right.
In 933 BC, where the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom had separated. And then we also covered over 722 BC, about 200 years later, when the northern kingdom was actually taken away captive by the king of Assyria, Shalmaneser.
Right.
And they were taken they were taken captive by boat into Assyria and the territories of the Persians and Medes.
Right.
And then when they fled from him, they went by boat around the southern tip of Africa, down through the southern Americas, you know what I mean? And then they migrated from up there.
So that's what you were going over. You were showing how in the division of Israel, how that the 9.5 tribes got over here to America.
Right.
And when you talk about the 9.5 tribes, just giving them a little catch up of what we've been going over, because we're coming in also touching on Deuteronomy, or we're proving, how do we know that these people specifically that are calling yourself Negroes, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, how do we know that the children of Israel? So it started from 933 BC. It started from the curses, really,
Right. Exactly.
of us being scattered throughout the world. And you actually went over on the last shows how from what you have here from the Dominicans all the way down to the Mexicans, how they got over here to America.
Right.
You went over that.
Yeah.
You proved that.
Right.
You went over the facts, the
just
history.
another book I wanted to get in there,
Right.
Just to kind of recap over it. We know in 722 BC, the kingdom of Israel was taken away captive. That's those 9.5 tribes like the brother was talking about. But this book right here is by Meyer Kaiserling. It's called Christopher Columbus and the Participation of the Jews in Spanish and Portuguese Discoveries. This book right here will show you, and for you people that don't want to trust in the Bible, this will show you through historical evidence that those tribes, when the conquistadors came over, were speaking Hebrew, had their tools in Hebrew, had different ceremonies and festivals that coincided with the Hebrew calendar. And they had the same beliefs as the Hebrews.
Right. That's why when you look at certain of the artifacts they found over there in New Mexico, it was written in Hebrew. Right. The ancient Hebrew.
Right. So and that's with the nation of Gad. If you got the sign back up.
Yeah.
The nation of Gad on this sign here, they're the where they found those tablets and things written in ancient Hebrew, which would be the Native American Indians on the sign. So the history is showing you. You so-called Negroes, you West Indians, you Haitians, is showing you through the Bible, through the history, through the archaeological evidence that everything that we're saying coincides with the scriptures. Right. That everything that has been found in history coincides with the scriptures. Right. See that? So that's where we left off was we're bringing them into 70 AD. Right. And this was after the time of Christ. Christ had died. You have 70 AD or Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. Right. And so at the point of 70 AD, we had I'm recapping again, but we talked about that in 70 AD, Titus, that Roman general, with under the orders of his father Vespasian, he came in and conquered Jerusalem. So if you can give me that map of Israel back up there again. he came in and conquered Jerusalem.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this: a lot of things that you're bringing out here is a lot of history we go over in class.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you took time out on the show.
Right.
We like to hit more straight topics.
Right.
Because a lot of people get lost with the history.
Right.
So, me saying that, I'm saying come to class.
Right.
You can get these classes. You know what I mean? For 9 years. You know what I mean? Straight. You know what I mean?
Right. And there it is on the map that she has right there. Jerusalem with the star right there.
But hopefully you will remember. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. But yeah, Jerusalem there with the star is this is what was taken away captive in 70 AD. So Christ had prophesied this, and we're going to go over a few of the prophecies real quick, and then just show you conclusively that these people that used to reside in this area that you see in the blue and the yellow, that the people are those people that we show on the sign every week.
Right.
That we're going to show you that through the scriptures, through the prophecies, and then through also these other books.
Right.
So
so we got the historical evidence because a lot of people are historical buffs.
Right.
Once again, I like to always point out that we trust in the Most High, we trust in the scriptures, and we trust in the evidence of the knowledge.
Right.
But you have a lot of skeptics, a lot of brothers and sisters that do study history, but really don't go deep enough into history to really understand about yourself. You call yourself African American, you call yourself Aztec, Mayans, Incas, but you don't go before that. Because biblically, there's no such thing as black man, Africans. There's no such thing as Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, Toltecs. All these names were adopted after when you talk about 722 BC. You're talking about all the way going down into, I would say during that time we adopted these names because when they came over, what names did we have?
Right.
We had these other adopted names.
Right.
And you went over it because I watched the show when you went over it when it said let's go to another land.
Right.
And follow, and supposedly Israel is coming up with this idea was we're not going to serve God in our land that He gave us. Let's go to another land.
Right.
And that's how the 9.5 got over here. But one of the ideals was we're going to serve Him with our heart in this other land.
Right.
And like Adam, cover ourselves with other doctrines.
Right.
And other philosophies.
Exactly.
And other religions like you're doing today. You call yourself whether it's an African American or you're calling yourself American, you're not these things. That's not your ancestry. That's not where you come from.
Yeah, and for brothers and sisters that don't think it matters, because we got a lot of those that, that history doesn't matter, the past doesn't matter. You're talking about the past, all this stuff, right? If you go on Google, and now I'm doing that right now, all right? You type in 933 BC, just 933 BC, and let that tell you right there how important this date was. Because when I type it in, that's all you get. The first two references give you, they repeat back what you typed in. After that, it's Solomon, king of Israel, 973 to 933 BC, poems and lyrics. Chronology of Israel, 935 to 800 BC. Solomon again. Zaham, prince of Israel, 933 BC. Shelomith, prince of Israel, 933 BC. All it does, the whole world cares about what happened in 933 BC. Google only cares about what happened in 933 BC regarding Israel. It doesn't say the Chinese were doing this. It doesn't say the Arabs were doing this. Muhammad was doing this.
You know what's
only
powerful
Israel.
about that, brother, is because if we don't really understand 933 BC, we don't understand our history, especially going back into this biblical history, is that we're really not understanding how we got to the 1400s.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We're not going to understand how this transitioning for us calling ourselves Negro, you know what I mean, or African, we're not going to really understand that.
Right.
So this is why this is important. So read that Deuteronomy 32 verse 7 really quick.
Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old.
Forget the past.
Remember the days of old.
Wait a minute. That's all in the past. We just got to worry about the New Testament.
Remember the days of old.
Right. Read.
Consider the years of many generations.
The Most High is telling us, remember the days of old. We are supposed to remember the past because we got to learn from our mistakes. You know, the scriptures tell you in Ecclesiastes, in the Bible, it says there's nothing new under heaven. If we understand that it keeps going around, just like our fads. You got the 80s fad coming back out. right? Everybody wants to cut their hair and get flat tops and wear the big glasses and, wear the MC Hammer pants,
right.
or wear the tight jeans or whatever, right? The Most High is showing us that we have to remember the days of old to really understand how this cycle is going to end. And the Most High is showing us. He's showing us in the scriptures. Go back to your to the Old Testament. Go back to your scriptures. You understand why we're in these conditions. You understand where America's going to. See, there's nothing new under heaven. Go ahead, read that.
Consider the years of many generations.
Read.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee.
And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be going to our elders,
right.
And they're supposed to be able to tell us, well, listen, bro, and there was, even our elders now, the ones that have died off, the 100-year-old, they're not like the elders that's coming, like the 30-year-old grandma.
Right.
No, it's talking about the old so-called black men, the old so-called Mexican men that really understood. Listen, we were Israelites.
Right.
Because I remember that my dad and his dad told him. Right. You know what I mean? His grandma told him, yeah, we're the Israelites. You know what I mean? And but there's a lot of black people. There's a lot of Native Americans. There's a lot of so-called Hispanics or what you call Mexicans that their fathers knew.
Right.
Their great-grandfathers knew these things. Right. You see what I'm saying? So the scriptures are saying, ask them. Right. But now they're not here no more. So what do we got to do? Let's go back to the oldest source.
Right.
Let's go back to the oldest source and get this history down to really understand about ourselves, that we're not Afro-American, that Christ ain't coming back and he's coming back to redeem the children of Israel.
Exactly.
And do everything he prophesied about. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ask thy father, and he shall show thee.
There you go. Read.
Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Right. So this is what the Most High is saying. And this goes back to what you just said. That's not important.
Right.
But the scriptures is saying it's important. Remember the days of old.
Right.
Then he comes back and drops it like this. Read.
When the Most High divided to the nations.
Wait, he gathered everybody together?
When the Most High divided to the nations.
Well, we all bleed the same blood.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
See, the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. Right. This is why this is important. And then I'm going to go to the New Testament. You know what I mean? Because for the New Testament, brothers, there's no difference between Jew or Greek. Yeah, but who was he talking to?
Right.
Do you know who he was talking to when he said that? Read.
When he separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds.
Wait, he gathered the sons of Adam together.
When he separated the sons of Adam.
Listen, if we were all meant to be one people, we wouldn't have nationalities. That's what the scripture just said. Right. If it was meant to be all one people, we would just be the seed of man. Right. But we have nations because that's the way the Most High set up. I'm sorry, don't get upset at me. But that's where the Most High set it up. He set it up for us to have different nationalities, different ancestry, different nations. It's diversity. The Most High loves that. That's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're getting some understanding about why the Most High did this. Go ahead.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right. So he gave the boundaries according to the number of the children of Israel. What does he mean by that? Well, let's read on. We're going to find out. Go ahead.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
Because his people was Israel.
Right.
Read.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Jacob was the lot of his inheritance. It was, let me set up my children in Israel. And, whoa, you set up in the wrong land there, Hamites. You set up in the wrong land there, Gergesites, Jebusites.
Right.
Go move them out of that land. That's like they moved into the wrong apartment.
Right.
So the Most High said, that's the children of Israel's lot.
Right.
You move out of there because I want you out of there because that's my people's land. So yes, we all come from Adam, but the children of Israel was the Lord's portion. Now we understand. Go to Matthew 10:5 and 6 really quick. It's on the same topic. I just wanted to bring these scriptures out to show why is it important. We're bringing out the historical evidence that you are not black, you're not Mexican, you're not Puerto Ricans. Those are names that were put on you during captivity and slavery. Okay, you are actually go back to the seed of the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 10 and verse 5.
Read.
These 12 Jesus sent forth.
From 10 and 1, he gathers his apostles, gathers them up, and gives them a commandment. Read.
G12, Jesus sent forth.
Go ahead.
And commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles.
See, and this is why it was really important for Christ to make a statement that when he came on the scene, he was to show that don't go to the Gentiles.
Right.
Because it
being
wasn't...
those nations outside of Israel.
Being the nations outside of Israel, don't go to them.
Right, right.
It's not time for them. I want to show you when I put my foot down and I make a stamp in this earth who I came for.
Right.
Read.
And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Right, so go get a King James Bible. Okay, this is not the Quran. Go get a King James Bible and read it. This is, and don't try to shove it off like, oh, that's not important what Christ said. That's important too. Just as he said when he died and resurrected, now go to all nations.
Right.
He said, then go to all nations. But when he first came, when he first stepped on the scene, why did he say he went to the children of Israel? And that's what we're forgetting. These are the things we're forgetting and these religions have forgot. And we're trying to show why it's important. Because the children of Israel, you have to come back. You are the next kings and priests of this world. You are the next government. You are the next governors. The Most High is finna move this kingdom out of the way and watch and look, and it's happening. The peak of homosexuality is coming to its peak. You know what I mean? Through all these religions, churches, Democrats, Republicans, the peak of homosexuality, where the Most High said is becoming Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
So don't tell me why is it important that we know we're the children of Israel? Because the Most High said so.
Right.
He's telling us here. Christ said, read.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
He said, but don't go to them. Go to the children of Israel. Read.
And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Now, we have to understand who the children of Israel are. And that's where the priest is breaking down 933 BC. That's where we're giving you historical evidence that you are not Africans.
Right.
That you're not Hamites.
Right.
But that you are actually of the seed of Abraham. And that these people that conquered you, they stole your identity.
And you know, this is especially true for our people calling themselves Negroes,
right,
and West Indians and Haitians today. If you could throw that sign back up.
There you go.
But that's the nation of Judah back in our time, or back in the Bible times. And what I'm going to do right here is just go to what the Pictorial Bible Dictionary says about Ham.
Right.
Because and I think we might have touched on this a little bit, but this needs to be out there because they need to see that there is a clear separation between Africans, Egyptians, Ethiopians,
right,
and the so-called Negro here in America.
There you go.
Between the so-called, especially for Benjamin, because that's Jamaica and the West Indies, the Caribbean islands. They thinking, you know, oh, we're praising Haile Selassie. This man was an Ethiopian.
Haile Selassie.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and they're praising him as if he's the future king of Israel.
Right.
But we didn't have a Cushite or Ethiopian king over Israelites.
Right.
That wasn't done.
Right.
You understand? So I'm going to grab this real quick. It says about Ham. Mm-hmm. It says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, or what you would call forefather, of the dark races. All right, so he was the forefather of the dark races. Mm-hmm. So if you stop right there, you're going to say, see, he was the forefather of the dark races. You're all Hamites.
Right.
But it goes on and it says, not the Negroes.
Right.
See that?
Check that out. And so that's perfect for the people that are saying that Noah had 2 white sons.
Right. Right. So even then.
Because then where the hell the Negroes come in then? If we're not of Ham,
right,
then where do we come in at?
They're Shemitic.
Right, I mean? Exactly.
Let's see. It says, not the Negroes, but, and this is going to tell you what dark races he was the father of.
You know what? Priest, I know we do this a lot, but I'm going to say this. You got to read it again.
Right.
Because people are not getting this, that in the Pictorial Bible Dictionary,
right,
the Caucasian man that wrote this dictionary knows historically,
right,
that we're Shemitic, we're not Hamitic.
Exactly.
And when I say we, put the sign up.
Right.
I mean that these tribes, especially of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you are not Hamites. You are not Africans.
Right.
Let's get that into their head. So read it again.
It says, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians. So these nations that follow, they're a dark-skinned people,
right,
but they're not Negroes.
Right.
All right. It says the Egyptians, so they're dark-skinned people, not Negroes. Ethiopians, so Haile Selassie is a dark-skinned person, but he is not a Negro. And if you keep that sign up, that means he is not of the tribe of Judah.
There you go. Thank you.
For you Rastas out there, you Rastafarians, he is not the Lion of Judah.
Right.
He is an Ethiopian.
Right. He's a what they call them, Falasha Jews, right? Which comes from the root word fallacy, false, right?
Fake Jew. And then it says Libyans. So the Libyans are dark skinned, but they are not Negroes.
So really, if they wanted to understand, us Israelites, it's not about color.
Right.
It's about the truth.
Well,
so whether they're white people calling themselves Jews, they're not the Jews.
Right.
Whether they're Africans or Ethiopians calling themselves Jews, they're not the Jews.
Right.
I can't even call myself a Jew.
Right.
In the sense of the tribes.
Right. And
you know what I mean? I'm of the tribe of Gad.
Right.
You're of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah.
So what they don't understand, this goes down a long lineage.
Oh, yeah.
I can't just jump shift.
Right.
That's just like, but this ignorance comes from the stupidity that the Greco-Roman Empire, a.k.a. / America, has dumbed down our people, and now they're, what's your nationality? Well, I'm part Chinese, I'm part Ethiopian, no, you're not.
Right.
We're not dogs. We're not mutts. Nationality by man in the Bible, okay, because that's what we're dealing with, is determined on your father.
Right.
It was determined on the seed. You put an apple seed into a banana field and into a dang a peanut field.
Right.
If you put an apple seed in a peanut field and that earth catches it, it ain't gonna be an apple mixed with a peanut. It's gonna be an apple.
Right.
And this is what the Most High said, the seed within itself in Genesis. So that stupidity, that Greco-Roman Edomite stupidity, man.
What does it say about people's slave mentality that you'll go and let somebody rape your mother,
right,
and then you'll go and claim their nationality, you'll claim their heritage.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna claim a rapist heritage. That don't make no damn sense. You're gonna sit up there and say, okay, these people came over this ocean, raped all my family members, raped my ancestors, and I'm gonna claim their nationality.
Right.
I'm gonna represent them. That don't make sense. You're gonna represent rapists and child molesters and genocidal maniacs.
That's just like if I went in your house, raped everybody in your house, and then you go ahead and have a day to thanks of that. Hey, let's thank this day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then we're gonna name everybody after them.
Right. Smith and George. What is it? Smith and Jones and
Johnson. And
we didn't have those
man.
names. Like Malcolm X was saying, we didn't have those names when we came over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And most of the books that we're bringing out, they're telling you that we had Hebrew names. Whether you're the 9.5 tribes that left in 722 BC,
right,
or you're the 2.5 tribes that came over in the 1600s, you didn't have a African name, you didn't have a English name, a Christian name.
Yeah.
You had a Hebrew name.
Yeah, let's go into that. I'm done with that. I just wanted to open up with that to show why the importance of. But let's bring out some more of these facts before this time runs low.
Right. This is an excerpt from a book. It's called The Sails of Hope. Okay. And this is by Simon Wiesenthal. So these names you hear writing these books are the fake Jews.
Right, exactly.
Writing these books showing you that you're the true Jews.
Right.
All right. It says the names Cuba and Haiti were, to Rodin's mind, of Hebrew origin. He believed that much of the basic vocabulary and the common names in use among the Indians likewise came from the Hebrew. Thus, he argued, the word hyena, water, came from the Hebrew mayim, spring, Jonas from Jonah, Yake from Jacob, Urus from Urias, and he goes on with his list of names. The Indians had been required to practice frequent ritual washings in rivers and springs.
Right.
They had been forbidden to touch the dead.
Right.
These are all Hebrew laws.
Right, all Hebrew. And then it goes into the lost tribes and promised lands, which I don't know why I don't have it here today.
Right, right.
It goes into that because you have Who wrote that again?
Fray Diego Duran.
No. The Lost Tribes.
James Adair.
James Adair.
Right.
By James Adair. But the Lost Tribes and Promised Land says the same thing.
Right.
That's showing you that the rituals of the Native Americans,
right.
the rituals of put the sign up real quick. And when we say Native Americans, remember, we're not only talking about the North American Indians, we're talking about you that call yourself Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, Toltecs, Olmecs,